Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the House Assembly for today, Wednesday, the 8th of December. We were hoping to give live assemblies with you all in your houses at various venues around the school. Unfortunately, for many reasons, we're unable to do that and hope to get back to doing that as soon as possible. So today, I'd like to give you a message first before we go on to a Fantasy Premier League update. And then I want to show you what you've done with Hope and Oasis Food Bank Collections, which has been brilliant. Then there'll be a short musical interlude by Charles Rigglesford, and then we'll go into the charity presentations. And we only have 4 of the houses that have managed to do this for other reasons. So the first message is about the bag racks. Mr. Manley does not want anyone to leave bags on the bag racks at any time, really, as items are going missing, especially if you leave them overnight or over the weekend. So please try not to do that. Fantasy Premier League update. Well, as you can see, the table is very tight with Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea only being separated by 2 points. And then West Ham and Tottenham are starting to catch up. As far as Manager of the Month for November 2021, again, Mr. Campbell won the prize. He was 26 points ahead of Ollie Stote in Year 9. Mr. Bunny was 3rd, and Mr. Spencer actually managed 6th place. As for the overall standings, Mr. Campbell is 23 points ahead of Ollie Stote, with Finlay Smallshaw in 3rd place. Mr. Bunny's in 5th position at the moment. There's a long way to go yet. As for league standings for the staff, Mr. Campbell is over 50 points ahead of Mr. Bunny, who in turn is 50 points ahead of Mrs. Hook. And Mr. Manley is actually in 4th place. That's the longest time he's been in the top half of the table. And Mr. Roberts is also doing very well. As for the second half, that's been led by Miss Huns, with myself and Mr. Nab vying for 14th and 15th place at the moment, which isn't very good. But still, Mr. McLeod is at the bottom of the table. The fixtures for game week 16 can be seen there. I think Liverpool-Aston Villa will be a good game, but there's quite a few good games there. And they start this Friday and go right through to Sunday. So please make sure you've got your teams selected and your subs bench correct. Well, I've been very impressed with the collections that we've had for the Hope and Oasis charities. And in fact, these are all being boxed up as we speak. And Mr. Manley is taking the first load to Hope Charity this afternoon. And we hope to get the other load to Oasis Charity later this week. But I'd just like to say a big thank you to everyone because your generosity has been overwhelming. So well done to all of you. At this point, I'd like to hand you over for a short musical interlude by Charles Rigglesford. And then after that, we'll follow the house assemblies from 4 of the houses. That's Campbell, Edison, Newton and Winstanley. Thank you for listening.
So I would like to introduce to you the charity of It's in the Bag, a charity that as a school we would like to support this year. And doing so, I'm going to answer 3 questions throughout my slides. That is, what is It's in the Bag? What is testicular cancer? And finally, why is the school we picked this charity to support? So firstly, what is it? It's in the Bag is a charity who provides support for men across the southwest with testicular cancer and runs solely from volunteers and fundraising to be successful. It has 3 main goals which it looks to achieve, and these are to A, support men with testicular cancer, but also their families, raise awareness for this disease, and celebrate survival. Testicular cancer, but what is it? Although rare, it's very possible and is the most common cancer in young men, with around 2,500 cases a year. And out of every 100 cancers diagnosed, only 1 or 2 of these are testicular cancer. It also has an impressive survival rate of 98%, as you can see there. But why It's in the Bag? Why have we chosen this as one of our charities to support? Well, it's a charity for everyone and not just men. If you look to the left there, you can see my dad with a surgeon. My mum's constant nagging to my dad to go to the GP because she and him both knew that something was not right. Meant that his prostate cancer was detected early and he's still here today. That's just an example of how women in men's lives can influence them. We're an all-boys school who values personal health. Men typically do not like to talk about their personal health. They discard it and keep it to themselves, when in reality, we should do the complete opposite. It's in the Bag initiates conversations that saves lives. When people see the funky orange pants or keep calm, check your balls on the house boards, toilets, posters anywhere, they talk about it. And when people talk about things, they check. And when you check, you can catch these early detections and overall saving a person's life. Here's an example for prostate cancer of my dad. He was very open about his diagnosis and in turn was speaking to his friend Mark, who he encouraged to go to the GP, and he was then diagnosed with prostate cancer as well. They're both good now from from catching the cancer early, and here's an example of how conversations saved lives. But where do our donations go? Like I said previously, It's in the Bag relies on through funding, and here's a few examples. So you've got survivorship toolkit days or respite care weekends for families, and these, because cancer is a very stressful time, not just for the individual but for the families as well. A weekend getaway can make the stress of cancer a lot more manageable. You then got awareness posters, cards, and T-shirts from the building of conversations when people see these. You can see how impacting it is. Seeing keep calm, check your balls around the school gets people speaking about it all, and you can see what £100 gets you there. Then you got travel grants. So Richard, the founder of It's in the Bag, came to our school. He travelled all the way from Bath, which would not have been possible without a travel grant, to deliver a very impacting presentation. In turn, inspiring Lucy and I to push this to be the Campbell House charity initially, but then with the help of other house captains as well, a school charity as well. And then finally, unfortunately for the 2% of men who do not survive from testicular cancer, there are funeral grants available as well. Here's the Edinburgh University hockey team on tour to Barcelona, wearing the Keep Calm, Check Your Balls t-shirts, representing It's in the Bag overseas. So what does It's in the Bag want you to do? Well, it's quite simple. You got to plead to check because early detection saves lives. In checking every month, you've got to do so. And if there's any worries, please see the GP. Do not put this off. And then here's mine and Richard's details if you've got any queries about testicular cancer or It's in the Bag. And finally, if I try and move my head out of the way, you can see the social medias, which I encourage you to follow and support for our charities. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name's Olivia and I'm the Edison House Captain, and I'm just going to be doing a quick video just on the importance of charity. So this assembly was meant to be in real life tomorrow, but because of coronavirus and 2 of the house captains actually having coronavirus, and also mixing the year groups would have caused issues with the current circumstances, we're doing the entire thing virtually via short videos. So my video will be on the importance of charity, and Charlie, the other Edison House captain, will be on the charities that Edison has decided to donate and support. So charity is defined as an organisation set up to provide help and raise money for those in need. But why is it important and why should you care? Essentially, to be a good person, I say. That's the simple answer. And to be a good person, in my opinion, you need to be able to help people that is not as fortunate as you and therefore face issues that you are lucky enough not to face. Especially when these issues and problems are completely out of their control. So in the UK we are very fortunate. We have systems set in place such as safeguarding in school, also free school meals and a free education, just to name a few. And for various reasons people around the world do not have these things that we have that we completely take for granted. I mean, as humans we focus on ourselves and what's best for us, and sometimes we completely forget that people are struggling just to get basic human rights. And the fact that people are still facing these issues that they should absolutely not have to face day to day is quite scary in 2021, but we can't ignore it and we have to do something, especially when it's completely beyond wrong. Like, there's some stuff that still happens that terrifies me. So what can you do? You can donate money and items. So donating money is kind of the obvious one. I mean, you see the adverts, your parents probably have subscriptions to charity where they donate like £5 a month or whatever, but even 5p can make a difference. If that's all you can afford, those 5p's will add up and they will be able to help a charity and make a difference. And also donating items. There's recently been a food bank go around for Oasis, which finishes tomorrow actually, and the amount of food that we've collected is absolutely incredible. And you don't have to donate just food either. For example, period poverty, you can donate period products, and there's also other stuff like soaps in case people don't have cleaning supplies, etc. So the last thing I suggest about what you can do to help would also be to educate yourself, because the lack of charitable acts is due to people not knowing enough about it. So for example, watch the news, find out about what's happening in the world, and also read newspaper articles in case you don't have time to watch TV every morning. So thank you.
So one of the charities we chose was End Violence Against Women. It's a charity that aims to support and protect women in the UK and abroad from being victims of domestic abuse. With the money raised, End Violence Against Women will be able to provide accommodation for women and children that are fleeing domestic abuse, to provide counselling services for victims of abuse, to support teenage girls and young women that are fleeing forced marriage, to support women trying to escape poverty, and to give advice and personal support to women that are seeking asylum in the UK. One of the other charities we chose was Cancer Research UK. So for every £1 donated, 80p will go towards beating cancer in its various forms. The money donated will help fund vital research programs for over 200 types of cancer, as well as funding new treatments and medicines to fight lung cancer, brain cancer, and many more.
Hello and welcome to the first House Assembly of this year. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of charity. With the House and the House Captains, we've chosen a few things that we'd like to talk about. Our other House Captains have spoken about It's in the Bag, the Testicular Cancer Charity, but some other ones we're going to focus on throughout the year involve St Luke's Hospice and WWF as decided by the House and its reps.
So, with the Assembly being about the importance of charity, we think the most important question to ask to start with is, what is charity? And that doesn't have to necessarily mean what is the definition of charity, but it's really about what you think when you hear the word charity and what charity means to you. So it's defined as the voluntary giving of help, typically in the form of money, to those in need. But as I said, the definition isn't really what matters. What actually matters is that you give to charities, but not just give to charities for the sake of it, but because they really mean something to you and you really want to make a difference by giving to a charity. So it's important to consider when you think about charities and what charities you want to support, that you really have a sort of affiliation with that charity and really want to help out in what sort of sector that charity works in.
We wanted to ask you to think about what charities mean something to you and why. Perhaps whether there's been support to a family member or friends, or even just something you're interested in. So we'd like you to reflect about that through the Assembly. And I also want to talk a little bit about why charity is important and why we should care. And I mean, this sounds like a fairly obvious one. It's about supporting people who need it, and it can be really valuable in day-to-day life. So for people that, for example, are having medical crises and would need the support of a charity that has funding. But of course, also, as we're in a school environment, we need to think about some of the values that that the school wants to promote. And I think quite often they align in charity work. Thoughtfulness, care, altruism. Charity is a great way of showing all these things. And on top of that, it's a really empowering thing. It's a way of giving people a voice and a message.
Yeah, and as Harry said, charity is really important to not only Newton House but to the school as a whole. And it's important to recognise as well that charity is not just a action or something you just do and you do sort of from time to time. It's more of a way of thinking, and the values of the school, of DHSB and of Newton House are really sort of closely linked with charity and sort of a charitable way of thinking. So exactly as Harry said, it's all about showing thoughtfulness and care and really wanting to make a difference through charity.
It's also a really important set of skills that you can get if you work with charity. It can give you lots of skills in later life, like working with people, working in a team, and understanding kind of the different needs of the world around you. It's all going to be very desirable in future life. And finally, we wanted to just talk about the Voice Reps meeting. We're going to email the reps about this, but we thought we'd mention it here as well. The Newton reps are going to be in the Learning Commons downstairs, and that's year 7 to 11. And we also wanted to ask you to think about any important issues.
Yeah, so what sort of came up in this survey that's been done is the state of the C block toilets, which I think everyone knows is pretty grim. So if you've got any ideas about stuff like that or anything you really want to change, so you could come together as a forum and sort of discuss ideas and then bring them to the meeting. Maybe like food and refuel. I know, like, be nice to have a bit of variety or something like that. So if there's anything you sort of feel strongly about that needs to change, or maybe something you want to introduce yourself that the school hasn't really seen before, if you could sort of brainstorm as a forum or just think between yourselves about what you'd like to see change in the school, and then pass those sorts of like ideas onto your voice reps, which who could bring those ideas to the meeting. That'd be brilliant.
So that's pretty much all from us. We just wanted to talk about the different ways that we think charity is important and the different ways we can think about it. Hopefully we'll be having an assembly in real life soon, and we can kind of get to know the houses a bit more as the time goes on.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and hopefully see you all
Here
soon.
at Smeaton House, we're supporting WWF, which is a worldwide organisation focused on sustaining wildlife and habitats. They work all around the globe, such as the Himalayas, Amazon, Fiji, Serengeti, Antarctica, amongst other places, and also they can be found in UK rivers.
So what do? There are 4 main things that the WWF do. They introduce young people into ways of growing and cooking food sustainably. They ensure sustainable logging and not too much deforestation of different forests around the world, because obviously they're a vital carbon sink. They protect natural habitats and wildlife against poachers and businesses who want to destroy the habitats, meaning the animals will have no place to live. And they also lobby and pressure governments to tackle climate change, and they're at the COP26 summit this year. Now, at Smeaton House, there's a possibility we might adopt an animal to give money to protecting the wildlife and protecting the natural habitats. So if anyone would like to see any specific animal adopted, please let us know.
You can email us at 16sharrisonf@dhsb.org or
16sbaileyb@dhsb.org.
Okay, thank you.
Hi guys, so I know this wasn't the way you were expecting to see us, but due to issues with COVID, not only during the main school but also in house captains themselves, we're now coming to you virtually. Woo! Thank you, Toby. So we're just here quickly to say a little bit more about not only our house charities but also why charity is important. So I will start my presentation. So the main topic we'll be dealing with today is the importance of charity. What is charity? It is I will hand it over
So-
to Toby.
Charity is defined as the voluntary giving of help, typically in the form of money to those in need. That means that whilst many of you may think of charity as like big organizations such as LEPR, etc., collecting money, donating money, giving money, helping, you can also do it individually, and there are lots of small ways you can do this as not as just money, and we'll explore these in the presentation and explain to you why we think it would be beneficial to give to charity.
Why is charity important? Charity is what helps bring attention to very serious issues, and it also helps bring the sense of community and purpose to people. So you can also get a great sense of self whilst doing it. And charity doesn't have to be just about large donors who have a lot of power. It's about raising awareness and making a difference towards other people's lives. So different ways that both Toby and I have given is Toby, bless him, during the pandemic, he bought some lovely food and weekly shops for people who lived on his street and couldn't go out because, you know, the pandemic's been going on a long time. And myself, I've done a midnight walk during the summer and raised £300 whilst walking from 10 till 1 in the morning. It was a long walk, but yes, enjoyed it very much.
So this is our school charity. I'm sure you would have seen it in Noah, the Campbell House Captain's video. This is quite an important one about testicular cancer, and he would have explained more about that.
And our house charity has been chosen as Prostate Cancer UK. Prostate Cancer UK works very closely, not only with sort of middle-aged men, but also with younger men to raise awareness of prostate cancer and also improve the care and welfare of those affected of prostate cancer. There's been a lot of money invested towards it, and we think it's an amazing cause, which is why we're going to be helping out in any way that we can. You might be asking, why is it important to give? Giving isn't only a large donation towards a charity, it's also, you know, being able to help someone just with your time or your advice, or in the aspects of money. The action of giving can also help you psychologically and give you sort of a better sense of self when it comes to it, and also release endorphins, which, you know, make you a better person. That's sort of the end of our charity assembly, but quickly over to Toby.
We hope you enjoyed our assembly, and this is just a quick message to our voice reps. We have a meeting from our year 7 to 11 voice reps Friday period 1 in CO4. So can you just discuss with your forms like issues you have that you want to relay to us so we can give it to senior management? These are just some topics you could discuss, but we hope you can expand on these.
Yeah,
Thanks for this.
Sorry, just adding in, those are the main topics that was found from a survey that was sent out to the main school. So if you could get some opinions on those, that would be brilliant. But that's sort of all from the two of us, and we hope you've enjoyed listening.
Hope to see you soon, and thanks.
Okay, bye for now.